DAO Watch episode 22. In this episode, we look at a really, really interesting project called ICP, the Internet Computer, and a different kind of use case for DAOs, whereby we're using the DAO to actually do some funding. In this episode, I also have to put my tail between my legs and make some apologies. That's probably the most difficult part of the episode. I think it's the most awkward part. It might be the part you might want to skip ahead of, but there will be time stamps in the description below. We also look at the usual suspects, Dash, PIVX, and a project from the Cosmos ecosystem. I will not tell you which one now. You're going to have to wait and see. And finally, please like, share, and subscribe. Would mean the world to me, would make us all happy. It will make you more attractive to the opposite sex or more attractive to the same sex. And it will generally make your weekend and the rest of your life a lot better. So smash that like button, hit the subscribe button, share it with all your friends. And let's get into this. DAO Watch, episode 22. Hello and welcome to DAO Watch episode 22. In this episode, we have got the usual suspects as the intro showed. Maybe we're going to do that again, but I really want to talk about this internet computer because I'd not heard of it before. I had only just seen it pop up because I didn't realize it was a rebrand of Definity. I just saw it pop up in the top, I think it was the top 20 it popped into. And I thought, what is this scam? For it will be there for a little while, it will fade away, you know. I never really looked into it properly. Come to find, whilst doing the research for this episode, this is a very interesting project. Very interesting, and quite how it stayed off my radar for this long is going to be one of the mysteries of my crypto career. Because there is a lot going on in this particular project. I haven't got my head around all of it, but luckily the proposal we're going to look at in this episode for our guest proposal does revolve around ICP, or the Internet Computer Protocol, I guess it stands for. Before that, we're going to go through Dash, PIVX, and Cosmos, as we always do. I've got some corrections to make and I've got some apologies to make. You know, it's not going to be the easiest or the most comfortable of episodes. Whenever I have to apologize for stuff, it's never good. But as part of a member of a DAO, you have to be ready to apologize as and when you make mistakes. Obviously, for me, I don't make mistakes very often. Being the genius that I am, my wife will tell you I'm never really wrong. Let's get started. First up, we have got a proposal put in by a amazing human being called CryptoSI. Looks a lot like me. He's put in a proposal on Dash. The proposal's not actually live yet as of the recording of this video. The proposal will go live later this afternoon, but it hasn't gone live yet, and I'll explain why shortly. But the proposal is to do some Dash DAO tutorials. So the proposal is to make some videos for the Dash community so that they know how to put in their own proposals. Now, I've done something very similar for PIVX, and I thought, you know what, as a part of this whole DAO Watch thing, let me put together some resources that make it easier for people to interact with DAOs. So, because I'm DAO agnostic, I'm going to go across loads of DAOs, and I'm going to try to do one of these every month. Once I get really good at it, I'll try to do one every week, and I'm just going to go through all the DAOs, and I'm going to try to put these sorts of tutorial videos together for the people within the communities or outside of those communities to be able to put forward proposals as easily as possible. Now, the Dash guys won't like this, but the process for putting in a proposal with Dash is much more difficult than it is with PIVX because they don't have the functionality within my Dash wallet. My Dash wallet is their equivalent to my PIVX wallet. I'll show you it quickly. It is too many funds. You have too many funds in your HD wallet in your browser. It's considered dangerous. I have free Dash. I don't think that's too much. Unless somebody suddenly sent me some money. I do like that pop-up came up though, by the way. But let's not harp on this for too long. So basically, I've got my wallet in my browser. I've got it like this because I've only got a little bit of funds. I think $77 is a small amount of money, obviously, because I that's not enough money to fuel my yacht, you know. So I've just got it here, and I was going to use this address to create my proposal, but I can't because I need a core wallet. Now, even masternode owners on Dash don't need core wallets. So it was a bit of a pain. I think it's a bit of a reach to expect that anyone who wants to put in a proposal should have a core wallet. I think that's a bit of a reach. I think it's unnecessary. Anyway, I'm going to create, I've said what I'm going to do. I'm going to create 6 videos for 30 Dash. Started off with, I think I started off asking for 10 Dash maybe, or 5 Dash, something like that. One of the community members said that's too low. Just go through incubator. I said I don't want to go through incubator. I'd rather raise the costs. So I raised it to 30 Dash. The reason why I didn't want to go through incubator is because as much as I like incubator, I think people should easily be able to go their own way if they want to. Although incubator is spread amongst 3 different strategists, the 3 different strategists all come from a similar demographic. They're all English speaking. They're all male. They're all, I'd say, maybe between the same 10-year age gap, 30 to 40 maybe, or 35 to 45. So I think it will be easier for people. I think it will be better for people and better for the whole chain if it's easier for people to just put in their own proposals. So I think that's how DAO should be anyway. You want to onboard people as smoothly, seamlessly as possible. And video tutorials, I believe, help you with that because it's how I learned a lot of the things that I learned. A little bit of my background about DAO Watch, the tutorials. I think I put in a link to the videos that I created for PIVX, which you can see. They're still on my playlist, but in time they will move over to the PIVX playlist because these proposals did pass. I did actually get help from someone in PIVX to make new thumbnails. But anyway, we're spending too long on this. So there's that. I put down what the videos will be, the 6 videos, budget allocation, community engagement, distribution strategy, who I'll be collaborating, and feedback I'll be taking, contingency, what I'll do if this proposal doesn't pass. I'm going to make the tutorials anyway. It's just a question of I'll hold them myself and not give them to Dash to put on their YouTube channel. I don't know if Dash want to put them on their YouTube channel anyway, so I'm going to have to speak to whoever does their marketing. That's not really a big deal. Concerns. I added concerns to this one because platform will be released soon, or evolution, whatever it's called, apparently soon. I'm going to have to. It's become a thing now. So Dash platform will be released very soon, and with new wallets there might be a new proposal creation process. There's going to be different node processes. There may be new DAO governance structure. It's working on Tendermint that has its own DAO governance structure. Now, whether or not the sidechain has its own structure or not, who knows? If it does, we'll probably need a new video because there'll probably be new UI. There'll be a new way of doing things. We just don't know yet. So the one of the concerns is that I make these videos and then they're outdated in the next few months when evolution is finished. Conclusion, blah 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 blah. And I left a little space there for me to tip. We've got lots of discussion here. Got some support from some people. I had a really interesting conversation with Vazaki about his way of his way of doing it, which I covered maybe 3 or 4 episodes ago, where you vote by the numbers. I struggled to understand it, but we had a really good discussion about it. He's got some other gripes, which we kind of went off topic. Luckily, we were reined in after this pretty long discussion by Agnew Pickens, off topic for this thread. That was a lovely interjection here. Sometimes you need stuff like this. So just say, well done Agnew for that. Sometimes you need that someone to just step in and say, okay, nothing wrong with what you're saying, but this is where we're doing it. We have to stay organized. We have to do things properly. So we got back onto the topic, and eventually we agreed. Well, I don't know if we've agreed yet, but I've put forward the idea that I might make another video, but it'll be separate. So the proposal will stay as it is, because I had a pre-proposal, and during the pre-proposal I didn't change it. So now this is the proposal. It's not going to change again at this stage. For me, the pros are the proposal is very well written, obviously, because I've written it. It covers everything that's going to happen and everything that might happen in case it doesn't pass. It covers all of the spending, where the spending's going to be. There's deliverables. There's a clear time frame. The person proposing is a member, not a grand member, not that well known, considering how long he's been within the community, or I've been within the community. But I don't know if that really matters, because luckily I have pointed to previous work, and I've left contact details as well. So for me, I think that this is an amazing proposal. I think it definitely should pass. I think the person who put it forward is not only gorgeous, but also massively intelligent. And, he's the type of guy who you would root for in the movies. And I think it should pass. So let's move on. And now it's time for me to put my tail between my legs and start speaking about PIVX. So I've been giving this guy quite a hard time, and it's not personal. I just really couldn't see the value in Jeffrey's work. I really was struggling to see the value in these trading competitions and listings he was getting on exchanges that I still feel or felt like maybe I'm a bit more on the fence now. Were exchanges that had a lot of phantom volume. Now, I think most exchanges in crypto do have phantom volume, but it's the level to which the phantom volume occurs. And maybe I was wrong on this one. Either way, over the last 3 months, he has done all of this. That's no mean feats. Like, he's done a lot. And off the back of what he's done, it's probably not only what he's done, but off the back of what he's done, and these proposals, I have covered these proposals. A lot of these proposals I've covered, and I would say almost to each one, I've voted no on them. Almost all of them, I think I voted no on them. And regardless of me voting no, they've all passed, because the heavy hands have voted yes. So they've all passed, and each time I've kind of been like, oh, I don't really like it, but DAO governance. And one of the trading competitions went live, and then the price pumped, and CryptoSI was there with a little bit of egg on his face. And I'm not afraid to say it. Perhaps I was wrong. Good thing about DAOs is that I can be wrong, and armed with that knowledge, I can then use that to possibly vote in a more effective way for the project in the future. And that's what I'm going to do. So Jeffrey has put forward a proposal to keep his role. So what he does, he puts forward a proposal for his role, which is his wage, and then he'll put forward proposals to pay the deals that he set up. So he'll set up a deal over there, get paid, set up a deal over there, get paid, set up a deal over there, get paid. We haven't yet had a deal where he set up and the project's got paid. We haven't yet had that yet, but that could be in the works. We don't know. We really don't know with this guy. He sets out his tasks and responsibilities. Again, it's nice, clear and concise. The fee that he's asking for is 22,000 PIV every cycle. I guess that's maybe $4,000 there or thereabouts, maybe a bit less. I don't know, but I think it's a good proposal. I like the way he does it. I would have voted to keep him on, regardless of whether or not I was voting to vote down his proposals, because I think it's very important that you have a dedicated business development role and that you finance it, and it's not done on a voluntary basis, because voluntarism is one step away from excusism. You get volunteers, and the next thing you get is excuses. And with Jeffrey, another thing I like about him is he's quite a hardened DAO member. He's been in the DAO for a long time, so people can criticize him, and I have criticized him loads. But in this episode, I'll hold these hands up and say, you know what, fair enough, Jeffrey. Maybe you were right. Maybe. So on this proposal, I'm going to vote yes, because I feel he should keep his role. He should continue to be paid. It doesn't quite say. One thing I would have liked is if it would have said what he plans to do in the future. But I think the nature of his role, I don't think allows him to do that. He can't say I'm working on this deal, because, the way these deals work is you can't make them public before you make them public. So I accept that. He does say he'll be working with his new additions, such as Now Group, to facilitate new merchants and provide necessary resources to make it possible for interested merchants. This will ultimately pass on to ambassadors. I don't know what's happened to the ambassador program, as there's been no real promotion around it, and I don't know who's in charge of it, but that might be something that needs to be looked at, and hopefully someone will put in a proposal, and they'll use my proposal tutorial videos to do that. He's not asking 50 PIV for submission. He's not asking that to be reimbursed. I've come up there and said, I've come there and said that I've apologized and said, perhaps I was wrong. So keep up the good work, and I hope that sometimes when you change your position, try to be as public with your new position. And this is just me getting on my moral high horse. But if you change position, try to be as public with your new position as you was with your old position. So if you was really, I wasn't really slating Jeffrey, but if you were really like, no, I'm voting against this. If you was like that, and then you change your position, then make sure you be as loud, be as loud with the correction as you was with the incorrect. So for me, this one is a yes. I think it would have been a yes, even though the last few were no's. As the next one comes up, just because the last few were no's, it doesn't automatically mean I would say yes. Some of these, I still feel they were overpriced, but when you get a pump, like a 25% bump in the value of the token, you can't fob that off, because that makes a massive difference to the entire project. And I think Jeffrey's doing very well in his role. Dash do have a similar role, and I think the level of competence between the two camps, I think, is worlds apart. I think Dash pay a lot more money for a business development team that are nowhere near as competent as Jeffrey. I think that's quite harsh, and I challenge them to prove me wrong. And if they do, much as I've done with Jeffrey, I will come out and I'll say, do you know what? These guys have put this and this forward, and it's worked out. But from that particular group, I've not seen anything away from the new DEX, which I forget what it's called. It begins with an M. But anyway, I've not seen much more other than that. So I feel that this guy, I think he's worth the amount he's being paid. And on that subtle bombshell, let's move on to Cosmos Chain. Now, this one is going through as a rip-roaring success. It's quite straightforward. It's a software upgrade. Now, some people do say in the DAO space that until you're at this stage where you can upgrade via decentralized manner, you're not yet a DAO. I'm not sure if I agree with it. I think you can have DAOs that are not like, right down to the bottom of the chain DAOs. I think you can have DAOs that sit on top of chains that are centralized even. Or, I don't know. I might have to beat that part out. It's a philosophical argument. And we could be here all day discussing it. And I bet you we will have episodes of DAO Watch where it's all we discuss. Anyway, in this particular one, in these guys, they don't need to have the discussion because it is a thing. It's the way Cosmos works. So they've got an update. They want to push through the update. The update has to go through governance. Here is the proposal. So it's proposal 821, V12 software upgrade. So what does this upgrade do? Okay, in a nutshell, it allows for liquid staking. What is liquid staking? I will put a link to a video describing it in the description. It will more than likely be a Don Kryptonium video, not just because he's one of my favorite creators, but because he has made by far the most content on liquid staking, and it's the easiest to understand. Even though the guy's got a bit of an accent, well, I guess I've got an accent, but he's got a bit of an accent. It's entertaining. His stuff's usually engaging. So I'll put a link to a liquid staking this description video in the description part behind. At this point also, please don't forget to like and subscribe. It helps a lot. Leave a comment as well, because there's not enough engagement on these videos. So if I've said something that you don't like, maybe you think that the Dash business development team aren't useless, well, leave a comment and say, you know what, CryptoSI, I don't think they're useless, and we can discuss it there. Don't DM me on Twitter. Don't DM me on Twitter. Don't waste your time. And just leave it in the comment section, because I'll reply there, because there's engagement for me to be had, and it works with the algorithms. And also share. But anyway, I'll leave a link to the Don Kryptonium video, but I'll give you a brief explanation. Basically, what liquid staking does is it means you can stake your tokens and you can also sell them. So you don't have to wait for your stake to unstake. You can stake them and you can sell them, and you get this, instead of just staking your tokens, what you get is you get this staked Cosmos. So you get this ST atom back as a token. You can sell that if you want to, or you can use that to stake or provide liquidity, or you can do other things with this liquid staking token. Liquid staking is done by another project called Stride. They was the first ones to do it. They were like the pioneers of the whole thing, and now they've brought that technology across to Cosmos. That's how I understand it. There may be a few nuances with maybe after this proposal you can now liquid stake your atom on Stride or vice versa. There's some nuances that I probably have messed up in that description, which is why I will put the link down below. So they've tested it plenty, they say. They're explaining what your votes mean. Yes means yes, no means no. No with veto means you really think these lot are trying to scam you. Abstain, you want to, it says it here, you wish to contribute to the quorum, but you formally decline to vote either for or against the proposal. The quorum is how many people have voted, and it needs to get past a certain quorum for the vote to count. And you want to say, oh, I'll add to that, but I'm not going to say yes or no. Which essentially what it means is everybody who has said yes or no before, their vote becomes a little bit more powerful. Anywho, they've included the risk factors, which are quite obvious. You introduce new features, you can introduce new vulnerabilities. That's just a trade-off. That's what makes big projects like Bitcoin and Ethereum move slowly, while smaller projects like PIVX can move quicker. Dash can move quicker than Bitcoin, but it will, or it should, or more than likely will move slower than PIVX. It's bigger. For me, this is a nice proposal. I like that it's concise here, and that they've linked to things that you can click into to find more. Like you can jump into the change log, you can see who's contributed, Stride Zone obviously, etc., etc. Binary builders. This is the actual change log. That wasn't really it. Shows what's breaking, blah blah blah. That's if you give it that. And the good thing is that that's not all here. So as a voter, all I need to do is just say, okay, well, do I want there to be liquid staking? It's very difficult to say no, which is why basically no one has. Pretty much everyone has said yes. No with veto is bigger than the actual no's. I don't know why anyone would vote no with veto. Let's see. None of the validators have, so I can't see any reasoning behind it. I can only see the reasoning for yes votes. This is a nice, really nice feature that the validators can give their reasons as to why they're voting yes. So they all voted yes. There's Citizen Cosmos, another great resource for learning about the Cosmos ecosystem. They do a podcast, which is very good. Kepler, great wallet, which is what I'm actually using right now. So there we have it. For this one, I haven't actually bothered to vote because it's one of those ones where the yeses is so overwhelming, and I would vote yes anyway. I'm not even going to waste my time. So the yeses have it. I would have voted yes. Nice proposal, well written out. Obviously, these guys know what they're doing. Let's just hope it doesn't break the network. And if it does, there is a contingency in here which does say that they will go back to a previous release. All of the validators will down tools. They'll roll it back to a previous release. If they need to keep the chain running, then they will make a new release that's patched, and then they'll upgrade to the new release that's patched via the old release, which they'll keep running. So that's all pretty obvious, pretty standard stuff. So on that note, let's get into the internet computer and this proposal, which is, let me show you the proposal. So these are the projects that have been launched on the internet computer. There's more than these, but these are just a few. Some of them get this level of I don't want to say hype, but they get that level of oversight maybe. And there's another one that's going to be created, and this is the proposal for it. So the proposal is an open decentralization swap. Now, this could be likened to an ICO, or for those of you who are watching this and don't really know about crypto, an IPO. You may not know what that is either. So basically what happens is you start a new project. With an IPO, it won't be a new project, but with these, there'll be new projects. You'll start a new project, and your ICO is your initial coin offering. So it's how you decentralize your project's ownership immediately. So you give all of these tokens out to people, they give you funding, you go and continue to build. Often they give you funding and then you go and build. Sometimes you've already built it and then they give you funding, and then, I don't know, maybe you build more, maybe you just vanish, or maybe you say, oh, okay, it's a DAO now, so you guys look after yourselves, so I'm going to go and do it again somewhere else. Some people see it as an exit strategy. Some people see it as a seeded strategy. So it can be seen as both, especially when you're starting with a DAO. So the proposal for this NNS to create an SNS DAO to govern the Boom DAO. SNS is a central nervous system. What does SNS stand for? It's down here somewhere. I can't remember. I only read into all this yesterday, but there was so much information going on. So this proposal is basically an ICO. They're showing about Boom DAO. It should be an all-in-one Web3 game platform and game server protocol running 100% on-chain on the internet computer. So the idea is, not only are they going to be creating these games, but they're also going to be hosting these games on the ICP. That's, to me, about as decentralized as it gets, and that's why this really, really got me excited, because not only will you have the decentralization of starting this and basically offering securities without a license, which you are, but then on top of that, you're going to be running the game on top of a decentralized, immutable, some would argue unstoppable, some would argue against, depending on how decentralized the chain is. I don't really know. You're going to be running on top of that. So even if the world police, otherwise known as the Americans, even if they decide we don't like what you're doing, turn it off, no one can turn it off. Here's one. You have to turn off the internet first. I think this this is quite a big step. This is effectively what Ethereum wanted to do. So depending on how much of this can be run and how quickly it can operate, how it works on the ICP, this is what makes this an I wouldn't say EVM clone, I would say an Ethereum competitor, because this is what Ethereum was meant to be, the world computer. That's what it started off trying to be. Maybe it still does try to be that now. BoomDAO's products include World Engine, Game Launcher, Unity Template, World Template, blah, blah, blah. So if we look into one of these, and this is how you would decide how you're going to vote. So you'd look into one of these and you'd say, okay, well, what are they making? Well, they've got it here. You can test it. Your logo here. I don't have a logo. So they've built something made with Unity. Please log in. No, we're not going to do that. World Template, Game Launcher. The only problem was it seems like these haven't been touched in a few months, which is interesting. Last month. Oh, I wonder if that's because, maybe that's because I'm recording this on the 1st of September. Maybe that's because I'm recording this on the 1st of September. Let's see if we can find a date when there was... Oh, we're not going to worry about it. But either way. So you can look at this and you can see there's a lot going on. Okay, so the proposal, that's the proposal. They want to raise some money. It shows how much they want to raise. 800,000 ICP. I think ICP is like $3 or $4 at the moment, somewhere between the two. So, I don't know, what's that? 2.5 million. Let's call it 2.5 million. Let's say it's $3. 2.5 million is the max that they want to raise. The minimum they want to raise is half of that, 1.25. From the Neuron Fund, that's slightly bit less. The minimum amount of participants is 300, which means they need at least 300 unique addresses. The swap is open to anyone, excluding the US, France, and AE. I don't know what AE stands for. Residents or citizens participation. Well, how are you going to stop them? I don't know. Maybe it's... Well, they can't stop them. Because there's no KYC here. You just put in your thing. There's no KYC here. You put in your money and it gives you back your thing. So, I don't know. I guess they're just doing that so that they don't get chased by the world police. Either way, I like this because it's although it's not what we usually look at, it's a very interesting use of a DAO. Very interesting use of a DAO to have it be a platform for ICOs, a platform for funding, a platform for starting up new DAOs, and not only for starting up new DAOs, but for starting up new DAOs in a totally permissionless way. We have looked at other projects like Juicebox before, which do similar things to this, very similar things to this, in fact. But this one has maybe some more interesting parameters. No, maybe not more interesting. It's just it's about the same, I guess. They're just different. I'll have to make a video on Juicebox, but it's very interesting, so check it out if you can. Juicebox. I don't know the if you type Juicebox down into Google, you might find it. Okay, so there's a white paper here, so let's go over it. The pros and cons. The pro is I like that they're using DAOs to do this sorts of things. The con is that there's a lot of learning that needs to be done, and in this proposal, it really assumes that you know quite a lot. It doesn't really give you quite enough links to explain to you what it is that you don't know, the parts that you don't know. It doesn't give you quite enough links. Okay, so it does explain to the front end where you can do it. Yeah, maybe on here there might be some sort of geo-blocking, who knows. It can be very difficult. Like, basically, it's quite complex. There's quite a lot of prerequisites that you're going to need to know before you can really get to grips with this. So it's not very user friendly. This proposal is not very user friendly. It's also pretty long. And then there's other parts here which, you know, what does this mean? Why is this here? It would be nice if a lot of this is interface really based. It's got nice colors and stuff, but you know, I need little information things. I need help here, really. These little information things that they don't really like. Type open decentralization decentralized swap. Look, I've clicked information and it's just told me the same thing that's there. Topic SNS and neural funds. Process related to the service nervous system. It's not central. Service nervous system. There we go. What is that? SNS and neural funds. So you've just told me what the acronym means. Great, thank you. Status, decision not yet made to adopt or reject the proposal. Yep, still open. Reward status. Proposal is still accepting votes for the purpose of rewards. So how this would work is you're not really voting. You're putting your money in. As I understand it, you're not voting. You're putting your money in. Or is that what this proposal is doing? Or is this proposal? See, now this is all right. So now I'm a little bit confused because I'm not sure if this proposal is you vote yes and then you send your money with your vote, or are you voting that the ICO takes place? And if the vote passes, then the ICO takes place, and the canister, which is what the ICO is contained within, the canister is created. I'm not entirely sure what will happen. I'm not entirely sure what will happen. And it doesn't make it entirely clear here. So that's something maybe I'll have to look into more. Initially, I did feel like it was just at this point you're putting in your money for the ICO. But as I'm looking at it now, it kind of doesn't read like that. The swap will start after the specified delay and is scheduled to conclude the evening of Friday the 15th. Yeah, do you see? So when does this vote finish? There's no saying there. Right, here we go. Okay, so there's 2 hours of the vote remaining. So what I would say is that if this vote goes through, then the open decentralization swap starts, then you can go into the thing, then you can give the money, and if they get to a certain amount, then the new project gets created. If they don't get a certain amount, then it doesn't get created. That's how I think this works. So I think this is a proposal to say, can we have the ICO? That would make the most sense. Okay. There we have it. On that bombshell, on that, by the way, yeah, I would vote yes on that. But I don't have any ICP tokens. But if I did, I would vote yes. And that's the end of our episode. For the outro, let me go to... Oh, I can't find it. Yeah, let's go ahead. Let's go to this one because I quite like this site. Scrolling down, I can't see much else. Oh, hold on. There we go. My browser decided to stop the page. My browser doesn't like the page for whatever reason. Let's jump into this. Anyway, don't forget I've got a book. It's called The Ultimate DAO Handbook. It's available on Kindle and Amazon as an ebook as well. We don't have a hard copy yet. I'm going to make one soon though because the page views are ramping up. So make sure you check that out. Also, make sure you like and subscribe and share. And if your project has been featured, then definitely share, because the more views we get on this, the more people we can drag into DAOs, the more people we can get interested in DAOs, the more people we can get interested in your project, and then we can pump your bags. If that's not a little bit selfish, doesn't matter. Thanks for watching. I've been CryptoSI. We will be back soon. Hopefully we will get the fireside chat started. I really, really want to interview the DAO doctor, Hans Koning. There's a few other people I really want to interview as well, but he's going to be the first one. So thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, all that other good stuff. I've been CryptoSI. You've been amazing, and I will see you in maybe a fortnight. Thank you. Adios.